Hello and welcome to your election headquarters. This is Election Brief. I'm Barbara Kumson. Our headlines today: Majority Leader Oseche Mensah-Bonsu faces an uphill task of retaining his seat as electors say he has failed to serve the needs of the constituents. Mr. Mensah-Bonsu is meanwhile asking former President Mahama not to draw any inspiration from Joe Biden's victory as he likens the NDC flag bearer to Donald Trump. And there have been mixed reactions since Speaker of Parliament Professor Michael Quay declared the Fomena seat vacant. We have all details of these stories and more in this edition. Stay with us. Thanks for staying with us, and we begin in the Swami constituency because artisans there say the introduction of the free senior high school policy coupled with the free water supply and the reduction of electricity prices are the reasons they would vote to renew the mandate of President Akufo-Addo. That's for Voters' Voice today.
Adiaro, your best sister. Your best sister, because JM buyer, you be who the JM. In fact, magazine, I want to but right now, no, and you're my munye. And you feel education here. You just go with Botum. I don't credit. Don't quote.
Yes, what Mr. Can say. Nana, I'm a dear. We are NDC MPP. We are MPP. Omubuma Kama. No one scan the end in the hall. I don't know. NDC is so bad. Let's Kayaba. I'm a moment in fact. NDC MPP don't know. This can be a scanumba. Obuba Neska Wyating. And near the higher far.
Where 4 more for an Amunya? 4 more for an or the best president I Hey, the best president I'm a penny buy. And here for no Musa. What is free education? Free education. Oh, boys, go for Mammy Chow. Mammy Chow. Mammy Chow. Let's go. And I want to go into the same thing. Rapani, you Mensah-Bonsu, Nempeso, Korean Chrome be free. The host, I'm no hospital. Party office, CB. What I said, I'm 24. Magazine. You're hospital and your hospital. Into a review. Mensah-Bonsu, one run out from as I was one at JM, a quite a JM studio bar, and you are Coco, Sika, free education, as a Sika Bia, free education. Now, magazine for magazine for your Philly, magazine for your Philly.
4 more for Nana, Mr. Nana, or Bayano, Neniji, Sedo, and here for to say, Teteno, Nankalano, Omco, and Omutimiko, and then Colina, free education. So, 1 year to Botona Nana, it's me qua. A chance of me to Botona Bedi. Now, and that's all the 4 more for Nana. I know your problem to say, that quantity. And I'm coming on my oh, Mother, some. There's some 8 years. Send your money to Trapo, sir, 8 years, no, or 4 years. What you want? What's it? What's all right? 4 more for Nana. 4 more for Nana.
Quena, with my contractor for no, I am Muchesi Kennedy, or Muyana Papa. Contractor, where you are quite and start to 2 sides.
The entire form on the side, Yatoman and Anna, and I have a minimum of Busia. The same young friend with you, sir, what fast away, what time the first couple of them. Nana, 1 minimum of Busia, Matuamanana. Nemo Mensah-Bonsu, the Matuatiano. Meso I meant to my Andisi. Matuatiano, Nana,
form of banana.
No, I don't cry. I didn't know your mom and my bush and the did come. Papa did the Amazon. My dog not take Amazon because you have a Panayama. When you are million in our school, I don't cry. Free. What was I didn't any concert to Manana. Farmer.
For chairman's Nana by ye light, yentia, and see all their giant to 4 more to do more and 1 more.
Question for areas I question for but as a policeman, but the way I know, you need your own power because one, coronavirus by a call for 100 no. 2, you enjoy tab in Chalad Bay. And to come be also, or say a man and a call, man and Kwana, I feel so. Chairman Sabons, you need to be Yelama Bashaka. Me a question by now, make us ask him.
I don't cry. 4 more. I don't cry. 4 more. I demand not straight. Now, 4 more already at the amount. My chairman Sabons should be no 4 more. No 4 more officer. Safu Kwajo, I say, oh my, every job. Chairman Sabons, no 4 more.
Let's stay in Swami because Majority Leader, who is also MP for Swami, Osechi Mensah-Bonsu, has been reacting to this. He's asking, he's been talking about the former president's comments that he made following Joe Biden's win in the U.S. polls. He says the former President Mahama should not draw inspiration from the victory of Joe Biden, arguing that the NDC flag bearer is synonymous with what he describes as the incompetent leadership of Donald Trump, and thus he would be rejected during the upcoming December polls.
I remember in 1992, at the Buhari's time, when Chiluba won from Kaunda, we were in high spirits that these long-serving heads of state, Chiluba had succeeded in kicking out Kaunda. So MPP, we were hopeful that we were going to win. We ended up writing the stolen verdict, right? So it is this man, the president of the U.S., Donald Trump, right? People thought that he was incompetent, right? So it was competence against incompetence. And competence triumphed over incompetence. John Mahama has the tag of incompetence. And you think incompetence will triumph over competence? What makes you think so? A recycled incompetent person. What makes you think that he can come back? If they had brought somebody new, maybe that person would have been a game changer. But incompetence to triumph over competence, as to quote Ofusu Ampofu, I cannot think far. I think it's wishful thinking. Maybe
I said to Ghanaians that they should kick out Nana, just the way US kicked out Donald Trump.
We're here in Ghana. We're saying that Donald Trump was incompetent, and his own people were saying that. We here in Ghana were saying of John Mahama that he's incompetent, and some of his own people were saying that. That's these lyrics in one of the gospel music that have been churned out by, I think, a lady, right? And it goes, say Diana, somebody should wake John Mahama up from his slumber. Somebody should wake him up from his slumber. Perhaps it's one of the attributes of incompetent people. In his slumber, he thinks that he can win. Don't forget, even when they were losing, they were telling Ghanaians that they were in commanding lead, just like this man, the Trump, when he was losing. It's like his people should rest. He has won. John Mahama style. The two of them come from the same stock. So John, he should pack his things and go and rest in pieces.
So lots of comparisons being made between John Mahama, Nana Opoku-Agyeman, and Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, who is his running mate, now Vice President-elect Kamala Harris. So what do you think of the comparisons being bandied about? That's the question we posed to some voters on the streets of Accra.
There is a big difference between
Ghana and America when it's come to conditions, how Ghanaians, how we live, how Americans live. Our condition, the hardship here is different from US. So if Ghanaians, if we are about to vote, we will look at issues. Because Ghanaians, excuse me to say, we are not foolish that we will sit in Ghana here and say, oh, Biden has won in the US, so I'm going to vote for a particular party, or I will not vote for a particular party. That is not the reason why Ghanaians we vote. We vote based on issues. Elections here in Ghana as compared to the elections in the US, I just want to pick two key issues. The first one is based on the COVID-19 pandemic. Then the other one is also based on the fact that we always say that one party here is a social democrat, while the other one is, let's say, Republic or something like that. But then, this is what I want us to pick. Talking about social democrats, you have the MPP, which comes out with so many social interventions, such as the mutual health scheme and also the free SHS. Can we say that there are these similarities there? Now, we put it aside. Let's look at Trump's behavior when it came to the COVID fight, and then compare it to Nanado's demeanor when it came to the COVID fight. You realize that there are so many, distinctions between the two of them. So I don't think that going forward, we can say that our elections is going to be based on the turnout on the US elections. You know, we are growing, and as you can see, Ghana is transforming and developing at a rapid pace. Therefore, let's just say that the best candidate with the best policies is going to win, but not compared to US, because we are here in Ghana and not US. Thank you.
It has no significant impact in our election locally here. It's just political rhetoric. It's what you have done before and what you have promised to do. That's what Ghanaians would look on to see whether they'll vote for you or not what has happened somewhere else. If you are going by this, there have been several instances in the past where they've been one-term president and it has never affected our politics over here.
For me, I think Mama could win by 70% because Mama has done so well like 2016, and I can see he can do more. So for me, that's what I think. Biden also did the same thing like the time he was vice president. He tried to prove something to the people. So they gave him the chance and he has won. So to me, I give the chance to Mama to win.
I'm not sure Mama will win because Danado is also good, as in what he has done on, like how he has run the country and stuff. But even if Biden has a vice president and Mama, I'm not sure. No.
Because you're still here with me, Araba Kumson, on Election Brief on your election headquarters. Now, some legal experts have questioned the legal basis for the Speaker of Parliament's decision to declare the Fomena seat vacant. There have been mixed reactions since the Speaker of Parliament, Professor Michael Quay, declared the seat vacant. The New Patriotic Party, as you are aware, wrote to the Speaker informing him that the party had expelled Andrew Amwaku Esiama, the MP, from the party following his decision to go independent after losing in the party's primaries. Well, Speaker over the weekend ruled on the petition, declaring the seat vacant. We'll hear some reactions soon, but first, here's Professor Michael Quay speaking in Parliament last Saturday.
A member of Parliament shall vacate his seat in Parliament if he leaves the party of which he was a member at the time of his election to Parliament to join another party or seeks to remain in Parliament as an independent member. The petition from the NPP Constitution refers to which the MPP freely subscribed to, freely subscribed to provides in Article 391 that a member of the party who stands as an independent candidate against the officially elected member of the party or who joins or declares his or her support for another political party or for an independent candidate when the party has sponsored a candidate in the general or by-election automatically forfeits his or her membership of the party. After 7 December 2020, when Parliament is still in session till 7 January 2021, how does an MP operate both as an elected independent MP and at the same time an MPP MP if he should win the election? This lacuna of a ridiculous situation is not what is anticipated under the 1992 Constitution. In the circumstances, Parliament it is determined that the conduct of Honorable Andrew Amoako Asiama amounts to vacating his seat in Parliament. Accordingly, we bring this to the notice of the Electoral Commission for the necessary action to be taken in accordance with the law.
Now, on the AM show earlier today on the JoyNews channel, Executive Director of the African Center for Parliamentary Affairs, Dr. Rashid Rahman, questioned whose interest a member of parliament represents, as it is believed that the people of Fomena were not consulted prior to this decision.
My biggest concern is about the issue of representation. And I think that this is something that our constitution would have to treat very well and very clearly. Should we leave parties to determine whether we should be represented in parliament, or should that be the responsibility of those who gave the member of parliament the mandate in the first place? You know, where are the people of Fomena in this? I mean, what is their say in the happenings in parliament? For me, I think that's the biggest issue, because in the work that we do, there is something that we call the legislator's dilemma. And that is, you know, we've been grappling in the research on parliaments, we've been grappling with the question of who a member of parliament truly represents. And here I'm just talking about a member of parliament globally, not just in Ghana. You know, many people ask the question, when a member of parliament raises his or her hand to vote on an issue in parliament, is he or she representing the interests of the party, the interests of the people who sent him or her to parliament, the nation, or some particular specific interests? And I think this matter before us lays bare, this issue. In this case, I think what we are being told is that the member of parliament represents the interests of the party in parliament and not really the interests of those who elected him.
So this particular decision has garnered a lot of reactions. To help us understand the legality of this decision is lawyer Martin Pebu, who joins us on the line. I'm so grateful for your time, sir. So first of all, just educate us on what the law says when an MP vacates his seat.
Well, Article 97 makes it clear that if an MP crosses carpet, that is to say, if he leaves his party to join another party or seeks to become an independent, then he loses the seat. So two instances, he leaves his party to join another party, or he seeks to stay in parliament as an independent. In those circumstances, he loses his seat. As the Constitution says that it's a vacate procedure. And the way it's done is that it's usually the speaker who announces that the seat is vacated. Even though physically, we all know in advance that the person is left, but of course it will take the speaker to do the formal thing. Okay, so in this particular instance, once Mr. Siama was informed and he knows his party's constitution, and even apart from that, when there was evidence that he was about to declare, he drew his attention. So despite all these things, once he went ahead, he forfeited his membership of the party. Okay. And then it followed that he was going to lose his seat as an MP. There's no two ways about that.
Right. Mr. Kwewood, so a lot of lawyers have been speaking on this matter. Opinions are split on this, but it's very clear what the law says when it comes to determining when a seat can be declared vacant. What does the law say? What's the position of the law on who determines if a seat becomes vacant?
As I stated earlier, it's the Speaker's province to do so. The Speaker has a prerogative to say that, look, by this conduct, the seat is vacant, okay?
Right.
Practically, the Speaker must speak first. Then, if somebody is not happy with the ruling of the Speaker, that's when the person will proceed to court. So that's how you read the law, what we call purposively. Otherwise, then it means that the law would not function if we were to say that when you've seen that the person has gone independent or has joined another party, very clearly with our own eyes, you don't even need lawyers to read, lay people can see with their own eyes. If you were to say that nothing comes into effect until somebody goes to court to challenge and finish, oh my dear, this one, no, that's not what the Constitution intended. Anybody who has no argument at all. Look,
that's interesting you should say that, because a few, I wouldn't describe him as a legal expert, but Professor Kweku Asari and a few other lawyers say that it is not within the Speaker's right to declare a seat vacant. And it is rather that of a high court. It can only be determined by a high court. How do you respond to this?
It's not a serious argument. In my humble opinion, that's not a serious argument. Please, look, listen. The Constitution works in a certain context. The Speaker is the head there. So he must specify that, look, this seat is gone, it's vacant, okay? Then if anybody thinks that, no, what the Speaker has done is wrong, the person will go to court. So even apart from, let's look at it this way, this side works. So let's say now that the Speaker has given his ruling, if Mr. Siama is unhappy, he would go to court, and then as part of the court proceeding, he will seek an injunction to stop the Speaker from doing any other thing. You know, in the same Constitution, it says that when the time a seat is vacant, the next election is 3 months or less, there will be no election. Good. But if it were otherwise, so let's say if it were 6 months election or any other time that a by-election could have been held, and also sitting will be continuing, then Mr. Chairman would, as part of his day in court, seek an injunction to stop the Speaker from preventing him from coming into Parliament to perform his duties and all that. So that's how it works. But it's not as if we will all sit down. So if nobody goes to court, then it means that he will continue. It will lead to absurdity. It will lead to absurdity. So, and knowing also that we have this context that if you go to court, it's not a one-day affair, you can be there for years. No, and even you know that if you were to go to court, there can even be, after you've lost in the High Court, there can even be a further appeal. The logic of that argument suggests then that after the High Court is determined, then let's say, assuming one party, that party is not happy, then the person goes on appeal. So we'll be on it, add it to 7 years, 8 years, right. And it just went, no, please. It's leading to absurdity.
So clearly you disagree with those who are saying that, you know, the position of the Speaker clearly is a violation of the law. In fact, they say he's violating the law with impunity.
Listen, no. And don't forget, this is not the first time. I remember Dr. Wayu saying in 2000 something, the early 2000s, so he resigned from the NDC, right? Mm-hmm. He joined the MP. What did they do? They didn't take a court action before the seat was declared vacant. This is not the first time. When Wayu saying resigned, it didn't go to court before the seat was declared vacant. It was the Speaker who did. No, please. Sometimes, you know, as lawyers, I know there is diversity of opinion. Okay, I respect that. So I'm just saying that from my experience, okay, and the reading of the Constitution, this is not a matter that is in doubt.
Okay, right. Okay, be that as it may, the Fomena MP, Mr. Amoako, has now lost his seat. He is not an MP. He's not a member of the House any longer. Mr. Siama, exactly, Mr. Amoako Siama. He has lost his seat. He's no longer a member of the House. Does that necessarily mean that he will lose the benefits that he would have received or gotten had he, you know, completed his term? In fact, people are asking whether he would actually be able to get his benefits, like the ex gratia.
Yes, he will get it pro rata. So for the period that he has served, I think it won't be. It doesn't appear that he will lose much. Since we have just about 1 month to the end of the term of this parliament. So he will pro rata for what he has worked for. He will get that.
Right, Mr. Amakwe himself, Siama himself says that he still remains a member of the party, even though the party has expelled him. Do you think it will be prudent on his part to take up this matter in court to challenge the Speaker's decision?
The word you used is prudent. And to come to a conclusion means that there will be a lot of factors. It doesn't appear to me that I have enough information to be able to come to that decision, because your word is prudent. It's not just a question of law. So looking at it, such a complex matter, the best you would do, if I can venture one, is say that if you were not to continue, that's to say that if you were to say, oh, I withdraw from the elections, yes, that one would certainly be prudent. But as for the court matter, considering, well, it's for him, because you know what, I'm just thinking of something. Now that some other lawyers are thinking otherwise, yeah, he may want to go to court to set the precedent that, okay, in future, will the Speaker have the power to do so or not? He may well want to. Yes. All
right. Many thanks for your time. I had a lawyer, Martin Pebo, with that perspective on that Fomena matter, where the Speaker has declared the seat vacant. He declared it vacant over the weekend, and opinions are split over whether it was within the right of the Speaker to determine the vacancy of the seat and not the High Court. Let's stay on this issue because a Member of Parliament for Adentan Yao, Boabeng Asamoah, who described the Speaker's decision as a significant development in the country's politics, he also insists that members of a political party must necessarily play by the rules of the organization. But he's also admitting that it's their delegate system which appears to be failing them, as the delegate's choice is not usually the popular choice.
They didn't have to be consulted. The issues go back to the form of the electoral college that we have. And I think it's time that both major political parties looked at it. Because the people of Fomena, who the MP is representing as a whole, the MPP card-bearing members in Fomena, the larger community beyond the MPP card-bearing members, floating voters and otherwise, may like the MP. And then you have a collegiate system, a delegate system, which and that is where ourselves. The political parties need to sit up. It's not about Parliament consulting the people of Fomena. It's about the political parties putting in place the best methods, the most widespread methods for determining who their candidates will be within the communities. On the whole, by and large, it would appear that at the moment, the delegate system of electing MPs appears to be failing us in some instances, because the delegate choice doesn't always seem to be the popular choice. There are people who have said that we should go in the direction the Americans have, which is that all card-bearing members of the political party within a constituency ought to have a decision in who becomes the parliamentary candidate. And if that is the case, then you would find that there is widespread consultation. Plus, the person would have been compelled over the years to be working within the community to gain the trust of the community, so that in a time of selection, when a primary is due, your chances are enhanced because you are a community-based person. There's a sense that the delegate system is too narrow. There's a sense that too few people take a decision about who should represent them. And that in that sense, when there are too few people, the issues that are used, the issues that come under consideration for the selection tend to be too narrow as compared to the needs of the community.
You're still watching Election Brief with me, Arabo Kumsin. We're going for a short break, but still ahead, General Secretary of the Opposition National Democratic Congress, Johnson Asiedu Nketia, says Ghana will be doomed if the governing New Patriotic Party is retained in the December general elections. You're welcome back to Election Brief with me, Arabakum. So now, the Ghana Police Service is being charged to be fair in its operations before, during and after the December elections if it wants politicians to desist from moving about with personal bodyguards on election day. The police served notice that it will not tolerate the presence of bodyguards at polling stations or other persons who go there on election day under the guise of being security aids to politicians. The service knows that these supposed security aids often cause trouble at the polling centers, leading to preventable altercations which disrupt the voting process. Here is the Director of Public Affairs of the Ghana Police Service, DSP Sheila Abeye Bachman, speaking to Gifty Andoapia on The Probe on the Joy News channel.
Do political parties have security sense? I haven't seen any law in the country that authorizes political parties to set up security organizations or security units in the political parties. So if any political party has security aids, they are not recognized. And so no party can bring that kind of security to a polling station. As the Inspector General of Police said, we are supporting the Electoral Commission, and the Electoral Commission has put in place structures that will allow candidates to have their agents at the polling stations to observe in their steps. And these are the people we expect to see on the day. There is no recognition for security officials of any political party or any party who will come and support security agencies in our work. No, we have sufficient plans to police the ballot, and so we do not expect them. And if they do come, they will be arrested and prosecuted. What basis would anyone say that this person is a security personnel? That is the basis based on which the person will be arrested. If you carry yourself, or if you call yourself a security personnel who is not recognized, you know there are several provisions that will come at play, because security services, even private security, are regulated by law. Yeah. So first of all, like I said, there is no recognition whatsoever for political party security units under our laws. The Political Parties Act does not create such an institution or unit. And so we believe and trust that our political party officials will not claim to be carrying security personnel along, and such people will not go to the polling station.
Well, speaking on the same show, Ranking Member on Parliament's Defence and Interior Committee, James Agalga, said this will only be possible if the police maintains an impartial posture in the discharge of its duties.
You say warning signs that you have sent to your people, but
we are law abiding. All we are saying is that the police should do their work with some level of professionalism.
Okay.
That is all we are asking for. But in the event that that is not done, we are simply saying we will not allow a repeat.
But when you say, you see, isn't it this comment? Isn't it this comment? We have some questions. We still have some questions. And we've donated part of our time to COVID-19 already, so we don't have a lot of time. So let's make our points very brief so that we'll get we can take as many questions as possible. But Mr. Agalga, when comments like these go up, don't you think that's what actually incites people who then feel like they need to defend themselves because
we must call a state a state. You see, we have a situation whereby people who perpetrated violence were let off the hook.
Okay.
And so, you see, once beaten, twice shy. We're saying that we don't want to have a repetition of Ayawa so
we're gone. Okay.
We have never meant to waste any time. We have the opportunity to comment on election security. Now, we're saying that the police should be allowed to decide their mandate professionally. If they do that, nobody is going to have any reason to take the law.
Okay, Ms. Agalga, your point is well.
On his part, security analyst Adib Sani maintained that politicians have no business patrolling polling stations on election day, and he wants them to stay away altogether. He also wants a complete ban on the use of motorbikes.
See a lot of stories about me being extremely vociferous in calling for a ban or against politicians going or moving from one polling station to another, especially in the wake of the Howard Kumsen shooting incident, okay? Because you have no business there. We have electoral officers. All the political parties have their representatives there. There's security there as well. So why do they always have to move from one polling station to another?
So on a day like the election, what do you, as an individual, as someone who is not a politician, what do you want to see the police do when people like this show up?
No, of course, they turn them away. As simple as that.
Okay.
They have to turn them away. But let me also quickly add that the problem is, sometimes I commiserate with the police. They find it extremely difficult to do their work, especially in the face of interference from left, right, center by politicians. Until politicians learn to take their hands off the police, it would always be something we would keep talking about. And they've all spoken about commitment to disbanding vigilante groups, etc. As of 2019, this is according to CDD. We still have a lot of these vigilante groups, from Burma Camp Boys to Burger Bulldogs to the Hawks, Aluta Boys. The question is, and I'm excited, Honorable Akalga is here, Honorable Seth is here. Have they disbanded these groups in line with the Anti-Vigilantism and Other Related Offences Act law, in line with the provisions of the documents they appended their signature to?
Well, Chairman of Parliament's Defence and Interior Committee, Seth Achampong, has meanwhile asked his colleague politicians to respect the law governing the polls by ensuring only ballot observers are present at polling stations.
At a polling station, the highest officer at that polling station is the presiding officer. Any other person that goes into that perimeter, which is so demarcated on an election day, takes the ruling of that presiding officer there. You, as a politician and a political agent or observer, is just there to observe proceedings there. It is when people try to go against the law and try and play criminality, then they behave and misbehave. We are all citizens first and foremost. Let us respect the laws that we have set for ourselves. Listen, this election is a decision to get leaders for this republic. First, we are going to elect a president as a constitution mandate and 275 representatives. Those of us standing are just 275 will only be chosen. There is no fight in this exercise. All you need to do is to ensure you get to the polling station on time, key and get yourself through the process, and wait till the last ballot is cast and the polling station is closed and the counting begins. Okay. Let us respect ourselves. Let us not shortchange. As we go about canvassing, that is where the trouble is. Okay. Let us ensure that we do our canvassing, we do our campaigning, we do our walking. You can't stop people in the next 29 days not to canvass, not to talk, not to go into people's homes. But the president just told all of us that COVID is still with us. So let's protect ourselves.
Now let's turn our attention to the Upper West region, and the communications director of the MPP there, Ali Bukhari, says it is by providence that he is still alive. He said considering close proximity between him and the unknown assailant who shot at him, he would have been dead by now. Ali Bukhari was alleged to have been shot yesterday by two gun-wielding men at Bolligin during a campaign tour of the Wild West district. JoyNews Upper West correspondent Rafiq Salam has been speaking to him, and Rafiq joins us live on the line now. Rafiq, what more has he been telling you?
Like he said it's by providence that he's still alive, but he says that he was terrified by the incident, especially when it happened on that particular road between Bolungin and then on the Poyentanga road. And so he's saying that there were two people, two suspected armed robbers. One was masked, the other one was not unmasked. And so he was shot first time, and then he applied the brakes on the car. The second incident, who was just close proximity, then he also shot at him, but he dodged the bullet, but somehow some of the pellets got hit off his back. And so from there, he sped off, went to the campaign grounds where he was taken to the municipal hospital. So they attended to him. After that, he was discharged from the hospital. But he's saying that the situation has really emboldened him for him to do more for the party. And he's not going to be cow down about it. But he's saying that he has not suspected any foul play for now. But the way the incident happened, he's really scared about what transpired yesterday, and he's calling on the police to do more investigation on the issue.
So has he reported the matter officially to the police? Has the police taken this up? Are they investigating the matter?
He hasn't reported the matter to the police when I spoke to him, but he said there are some few security directors, commanders calling. We talk about the BNI, talk about the Regional Police Command. And also I want to say that they spoke to him. Some even came to him to speak to him about the incident. But when I came to the police station, I tried to speak to the the public relations officer of the police here, Inspector Gideon Boateng. He told me that officially the matter has not been reported to the war police for now. It is only based on their intelligence that they went to him and started investigation on the issue. So for now, Ali Bokara has not reported the matter to the police, and that's what and that is what the public relations officer is also telling me. But you know, yesterday there was also another incident on another road from the very road. Some people also suspected to have been robbed on that line around 4 p.m. yesterday. And so he says that matter has also come to their attention and they are investigating on that issue. All right, Rafiq Salam is our Upper West regional correspondent, and we'll be keeping a keen eye on that particular situation. You're watching Election Brief with me, Arba Kumsin. Now, if you notice, we've been talking about Swami a lot. That's where MP, Majority Leader Oseche Mensah Bonsu has his seat. And he is facing an uphill task of retaining his seat as he comes under huge challenge, not just from his contenders, but from some of his constituents too. The Member of Parliament for Swami is being contested by 3 others, including an independent candidate. And the electorate say after 2 decades of being an MP for the area, some of them say he's failed to serve the needs of the constituents. They are threatening to vote skirt and blouse. There's more in this report by Kwesi Parker-Wilson.
Oseche Mensah Bonsu has occupied the Swami seat as a Member of Parliament for 24 years. He endeared himself to the constituent with his broad knowledge of issues and his flowery language. But over the last few years, his support is waning as some electorates within the constituency complaining of neglect. The electorate who are threatening to vote skirt and blouse say the NP, in spite of the massive support he's received over the years, has failed to fix their roads and also advance infrastructure development within the constituency.
Hi, what's Swami? You two Abanama Mensah. She said 24 years, we're 24 years, and you two Abamano. Titua Dika didn't I'm there. I'm a two Abamano. No more for Bibia Mray or Hassay. Puntuabia Mahase. Bibia Mahase, Mayamaye. Yakwan, yet. Yenya bibia ma hase na mom ya de ya beto manifese yes se wo bia e be ni papa fa no woko na so bia ankobo ayen eti na me ya hwe mama ya den MPP odo ya de ma MPP nti na yesa ato ma che mensa so on sanko na mo ko na se wo antwe na ne amehwe na ti no ma ni tim ko na da next 4 years be ya ntoma no ya ntoma no we de ya di favor no abano ya ntoma me mum me ntoma che mensa Metoma Bashaka in Netia. Chairman say, yeah, can away MP. I ended it, Tiano. To 1 year this me. Chairman said, what need me to make us say, Chairman said, dining, and then to swam her. Want ya? It's a problem, yeah, face why you're crying, the chairman said, 1 year, no one will be. Bashaka in Netia. And baby, about no. And your party would, your pen put to a bab wire party, no, Debbie, and your party would. Your pen Obama and Punto nearby. Yes, you have to make a card of Amaya Bushia. What I say now, party, and they also any penny be. What does also any party will be an age party seminal?
Chairman Sabosu, or deep parliament or co-parliament 24 years when away. Swam, Wayabi, Nansu, a quiet year, won't need more. Or near quite swab a problem, Pani quite. Or Cisco die. Why we say hospital in Yamanema, and to say, woman and in our own, second year Mukranma, Kawuni majority leader. Our parliament, wasn't come Kufuadu, a year who quite special amount at the same Buta Kadi. Now I Koyama, dear, and can be any one.
But the NP wants the constituents to judge him based on his performance in Parliament. He, however, stressed that efforts are underway to fix the challenges raised by the constituents within the shortest time before the elections.
So, magazine, yes, I must recognize that since 1997, when the roads were done, they've not been done again. And much of it, about 90% of the roads have now so much deteriorated. We need to reconstruct. I'll tell you, have you been to New Road? They've started there. 10 kilometers being done. Asphalt. The contractor is doing the drains. When he finishes, he will come to the old site. We've given them bulbs, the high voltage electric bulbs, magazine, unprecedented. But within the same place, as I said, apart from the roads, we are doing a hospital. In fact, it's almost complete. And this is the first time in the history of the magazine that a hospital is being done for them.
To the opposition NDC and its General Secretary, Johnson Asiedu Nketia, says Ghana will be doomed if the governing New Patriotic Party is retained in the December general election. According to him, 4 more for Nana will mean that 4 more to loot more. Hence, the need for Ghanaians to be vigilant on election day, but remain extremely peaceful. Johnson Asiedu Nketia was addressing chiefs and people of Banda Ahinkro in the Bono region. Nesta Kafu-Ajuma was with the team and sent in the following report.
Johnson Asiedu Nketia and some leading members of the opposition NDC were in Banda Ahinkro for manifesto validation engagement. He called the bluff of those NPP members who are saying that Bui Power Authority is currently operating on solar energy alongside the hydroelectric power because it was mismanaged under the NDC. Asiedu Nketia explained it was under his leadership as the board chairman of Bui Power the initiative to operate on solar energy during the day was taken. If an enlightened person can say such a thing, then he or she might probably be undereducated. Maybe they are intentionally being dishonest to you because they know you will believe them. If you speak negatively on radio about Bui Dam, which is a national asset, people will laugh at you. All you have heard are mere falsehood, so ignore them. Member of Parliament for the Banda constituency, Ahmed Ibrahim, emphasized the development of the area was never achieved without the assistance of Johnson Asiedu Nketia and himself. He indicated his administration will initiate a chieftaincy training program for chiefs and queen mothers within the Banda constituency to enhance peaceful coexistence with other people.
National House of Chiefs.
We will employ the services of a chieftaincy expert from the National House of Chiefs to come and train you, the traditional leaders, on peaceful coexistence and the roles and responsibility of every chief in modern society.
When you know your position and I also know mine, how can we be fighting? Can we fight? So when we understand one another, there will be peace.
Dompimhini of Banda Traditional Council Nana Kuntunkunuku re-echoed the need for the people to remain peaceful before, during and after the December 7 poll. Gari processing machines were presented to women groups in 8 communities within the Banda constituency. The machines, which were procured through the MP's share of the common fund, are expected to help the women earn a meaningful livelihood. Member of Parliament for the Banda constituency, Ahmed Ibrahim, further gave out startup capital of 10,000 Ghana cedis to each of the 8 communities. Reporting from Banda Ahinkro, Nesta Kafui Ajuma.
And that concludes our show for today. Remember, Election Brief comes to you every weekday from 1:30 to 2:30 p.m. We are live on Instagram, Facebook, and all the social media handles. And of course, we're also live on myjoyonline.com. I'm Barbara Kumson. Have a lovely afternoon.